So some big news happened while I was at work, and I'm going to do a brief video about this while I'm on break, but we'll see how it plays out. Harrison Smith signs a 4-year, $64 million deal, or an extension with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, he's set to be part of a historic 2022 free agent safety class that also involved Marcus May, Marcus Williams, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Derwin James, Jesse Bates, Tyrann Mathieu, and of course Harrison Smith is going to be in there, but not anymore. So 4 years, $64 million, that's $16 million per year, I believe, which makes him the second highest paid safety in the NFL in terms of annual salary, right behind Jamal Adams, who recently signed a deal that put him at $17.5 million, with the possibility of getting to $18 million if he hits all incentives. This is a great deal. I love Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith is one of my favorite players in the NFL, along with Tyrann Mathieu. Those guys are just phenomenal. It's so much fun to watch them. The safety position is such a thrilling position to watch too, just because all the different stuff you can do. Harrison Smith has been, of course, lauded by guys like Aaron Rodgers for his ability to disguise and trick players, especially younger quarterbacks, into where he's going to be and just end up in completely different situations or positions than people anticipate. He's really good off the edge. He's a solid tackler. He makes big plays left and right. He's good in coverage as well. I wouldn't call him an elite coverage player, but he's certainly up there in terms of the NFL ranks for safeties right now. So there's a lot to love about Harrison Smith. This deal, I love it personally as a fan, as someone who really supports Harrison Smith. To see that he has a chance to finish his career with the Minnesota Vikings is incredible, because I've loved him since his Notre Dame years. If you're a Vikings fan, your biggest concern here will be that he's 32 already. He's already 32 years old, coming off a year that wasn't his best. He was elite, an elite safety, top 3 in the NFL, I would argue, in 2019. He was probably top 10 this past year, but he was closer to average than elite superstar. Now, can he bounce back? Absolutely, it can happen. And we saw, like, Anthony Harris last year was not good for Minnesota either. Anthony Harris was much worse than Harrison Smith last year, and maybe that hurt Harrison a little bit. We'll see if he can bounce back now this coming season. And I'm sure there's going to be some outs here in this contract, maybe after 1 or 2 years, because there's no way the Vikings gave Harrison Smith, who's already, like I said, 32 years old, coming off not his best season, 4 years with no way of getting out from underneath that contract. I'm sure there's going to be out eventually in that deal. But again, 4 years, $64 million for Harrison Smith on a Vikings defense that right now does not have a ton of stability. Danielle Hunter is coming off a year that Danielle Hunter, by the way, is an all-pro caliber player. I think he had 14.5 sacks in 2019 and 2018. Of course, missed the entire last season. He's a little bit upset with his contract situation right now. Everson Griffith is coming back. I'm sure that's going to be a great deal for the fans. Fans are going to love to see him back in a Vikings uniform. But it doesn't move the needle a lot for me in terms of adding more in the pass rush. For Minnesota, Eric Kendricks is still elite. But Anthony Barr has been banged up and hasn't been playing at as high a level as he was during his rookie contract and earlier in his career. And that secondary right now, I just don't know what to think about them. Outside of Harrison Smith, there's just not a lot there. Cameron Dantzler is a solid player, but we'll see if he can take the next step this coming season. So Harrison Smith is kind of a must-have there on that defense to hold that secondary together. He's been an elite player. He was snubbed from the All-Decade Team list by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He should have been an All-Decade Teamer for the 2010s. He's only been a first-team All-Pro once, which again is a terrible disgrace by the Associated Press. I'm sorry. I know they took a lot of effort into the voting, but I mean, you can clearly see, just looking at the analytics, even looking at PFF, that he should have been a first-team All-Pro multiple times. So Harrison Smith, one of the best Vikings of all time, and I'm keeping a straight face as I say, he's one of the best Vikings of all time, one of the best safeties of this past generation, and he's going to be sticking around in Minnesota for 4 more years.